So thanks. Just a point on the fact that you were talking about the power of tweeting. My company we did the first Indian Idol many years ago when there was no tweet and there was no internet, and we were powering up by SMS. And the trivia I picked up at that time was, when someone asked me the American team asked us, how many people will vote for the Indian Idol? Yeah, I'm a conservative guy. So I said, about 10,000, 20,000. And they shocked us by saying, more people vote for the American Idol than they vote for the US president. And this was back then. So when we did it, we broke all records. And it was shocking to see how technology, simple technology in the hands of consumers can blow things up. Anyway, so let me present a couple of ideas on the butterfly effect. So I think we've had if I may dare say, overdose of social media. And I want to go back to the theme that I really love. And when Bhavna Didi showed, when I just read that word, I wasn't invited then. I wasn't, I kid you not. But I said my heart leapt because the butterfly effect is a metaphor for entrepreneurs. And I want to inspire each and every one of you to think of yourself. Actually, I see 300, 200 butterflies in front of me. That's the way I look at it. And I think each one of us can flutter. So I want to just walk you through some of the very tangible, real examples and, leave it to yourself to understand if you could be this or not. So next, please. I want to walk you through simple 5 butterfly effect stories. Yep. Next. So the first one is about this lazy French man whose girlfriend wanted to sell her second-hand jewelry. It was actually trinkets. Now this girl told her boyfriend that, she was fond of second-hand jewelry, whatever that means, and then she wanted to sell them, which is, I think, a bigger challenge. And this poor guy was like, said, dude, who cares? But she insisted and insisted and insisted. And he tried to sell it on the internet. And he looked around. He was lazy. He could have gone outside and sold it. But he said, how do I sell this? And he began to think of a platform or an idea that could do that. Now, I just want you to imagine this French man, this nagging girlfriend trying to make him sell silly second-hand jewelry. Well, believe it or not, next, the result was eBay. Yeah. So, eBay was the result of it's a butterfly effect, right? What are you doing? You're just taking silly trinkets, putting it up on the web and saying, hey, anybody wants to buy how many of you would buy second-hand trinkets of jewelry? Nobody, right? Someone would. One person out of 200. But that began eBay. So the lesson, the butterfly lesson is, if you can help yourself, you can land up helping the world. Do something for yourself. And believe it or not, the world will take it up. Because you just don't know. You just don't know. As I love, everything matters, right? Everything matters, right? Next story. So this is going to be fun. You guys are going to get shocked. So how many of you guys have done aerobics or like aerobics or pretend to do aerobics? Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, sometimes nice to pretend, right? It doesn't have to be true. You can do aerobics in your mind. So this is really cool Colombian teacher, man. But, and believe it or not, there's a woman in all my stories. So I kept to the brief before I got kicked out. This man aerobics teacher, right? He's like a normal guy making people do his exercise, pounding them, just kind of making them do stuff. Now he lands up in his class and he forgets his music tape. Tragedy. I want you to think a little bit serious now. Butterfly effect. One is, cancel class, women will kiss him and say, thank you very much. The teacher made a mistake. The second is, he says, no, I don't have my music, but I can improvise. And believe it or not, he improvises in the class using salsa and a couple of music techniques he knows live. Now hold your breath again, right? This is happening in Colombia in a clumsy make-do aerobics class. The butterfly effect is, next, Zumba was created because of that one incident. And people just love to tango and salsa on music. Who wants to, do stuff again? So this is story number 2. Next, please. And I think the lesson is just improvise just that moment. A lot of us just give up. I think the lesson I took out of this thing was just improvise. You just don't know. That improvisation may be actually what people are looking for. Right. This is a man, if I give the name, I'm scared someone will get it, so I'm going to keep it to myself, but nevertheless. A rather really, struggling bookseller. Just going around the world trying to sell his books, and the women he would try to sell these books to, women again, were more interested in his free perfume sample. Now, I've been through this thing where, we buy thousands of cosmetics, but that small sachet of some silly thing is what people want, I don't understand the psychology, but I stay away from commenting. Not good to comment on these things, right? Just keep quiet. It's free. So this man was really, really struggling, and he was trying to say, how do I sell my books? But people wanted that ugly free perfume. Again, butterfly effect. You keep trying to, sell books and keep trying to give away silly perfume, or next, Avon Company. So he quit selling books and he started selling perfume. But the best part of this pivot, as we call it in technology, was that he employed the women that were buying from him as salespeople. So Avon's technology, for all of you, Avon's an old company, but Avon's biggest claim to fame was that the consumer became the salesperson. And they had no shop. Every consumer who bought Avon became the seller, and that's how all these, the latter MLL marketing techniques were bought. So, lesson from this? Yeah, they just like something else. You might be selling them something else, but they actually want something else. And if you dive a little deeper into your own activity, into what you do, you never know. There's someone sending you a message saying, hey, you know what? Can you do this for me? I know you're trying to do that. If you capture with that, if you activate that, you could be creating a global butterfly effect or a local butterfly effect. Who cares, right? It's still creating an impact. So this is my favorite, and I've chosen it specially for you. And I can keep going on and on and on. I'm a storyteller, but nevertheless. Now, there's a hippie woman whose husband wanted to ride a horse from Buenos Aires to New York. I think she married a hippie man, because, that's a kind of hippie idea. Vagabonds, husband and wife, vagabonds, if you know the term. The husband said, I want to ride this horse. The woman said, no problem, I'm going to support you. Now, because of their world travels, they had understood a lot of local flavor, passion, and they were into this global scene because they were hippies, right? They knew what happened. So she said, you know what, I'm going to do this, we'll sell everything. They had a restaurant ko bej diya, they sold the restaurant. And the woman said, I'm going to open a small shop. I'm going to use the knowledge I've had of all this hippie traveling, so that I can make some different goods to help sell and send you money while you do your horseback travel, right? So hold your breath. The result, next. Now, how many of you are hippies here? Can you put up your hands? How many of you have done horseback riding from Argentina to New York? No. That's the lesson. No, that's not the lesson. Koel, you are, right? Hippie. So the lesson I found is, do what your heart tells you to. That's where butterflies are born. For me, that is where the butterfly is, in the heart. It's nowhere else. It's in your heart. Let that butterfly go free. That, to me, is my lesson. Now, at the cost of sounding a little vain, and this is Resha, I'm going to blame you for the next one. The 5th lesson, this is a story of a lonely entrepreneur who didn't know how to give back. And I must share this with you. I had an Art of Living teacher whom I went to many, many years ago. Let me reveal the stories about myself. And this Art of Living teacher, when I told her, I said, you know what, I'm not getting a kick. I'm a guy with a kick, मैं kriya nahi karta hu, I don't get a kick. Kriya karta hu, I don't get a kick. Give me something to get a kick. And she said, your cup is full, empty your cup. So I said, boss, that's too hard to understand. What do you mean? And, and then she dumbed it down and she said, share, give, do something. So all I began to do was I created a small community of entrepreneurs, and I said, let me share my ideas, let me share my stories, because that's the only thing I have. I have nothing else. I have scars on my back that I can show people who want to see them and say, don't do these things to get those scars. You should go and earn your own scars, right? So I began to meet people, and this is what had started. Next. So the first member, I met this pretty girl in Bangalore, and she became my first community member, literally, one, right? And then I had someone hosted a dinner for me in Delhi, so we met some more, okay? And then this is my office, and there's a rowdy bunch of hooligans who started meeting in my office, and we said, okay, let's share stuff. And then we had to rent an auditorium because my office was not big enough. And last, this is what it looks like. So it's grown from 1 to 10,000. And I hope, with the grace of my guru, one day someone will present a story on the Roddy Notes, like I'm presenting a story on everybody else. But the lesson, if I learned, was, next, start flapping your wings. Other butterflies will join. Right? Right. So, last but not the least, I want you to do this, and this I have taken the liberty of getting asked. Each of you, I want to do a live butterfly experiment right now. Right now. Enough of you guys sitting and just watching us talk, right? So can you all face each other or your partner, whoever you're next to, and just tell him, her, hopefully her, all the hers and hims, just share with them what has made you empowered, what has made you come to this stage today, what is it that you think, just one tip that made you so confident, that made you so successful, just share it amongst yourself to the person next to you, because I think we can get 200 butterflies to share with 200 butterflies and just blow this up. The point I want to make is this. Thank you so much. And if you haven't completed, you can do that during lunch. If each of you share this on social media, you can imagine the power that it unleashes. So the whole idea is, if 200 can connect with 200, there's 200 million people out there ready to hear your message. Make that brief, get out there, and share your story. Right? Thank you.